Okay, thank you for joining us today for the third meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, Jason Boyd, do we have any public comments submitted? Indicating none. Thank you. And I don't believe we have anyone in the audience wishing to address the board. Okay, moving on to our first set of resolutions. Madam Clerk, item 1, please.
In the Utilities Department, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Manick and Smith Group Incorporated for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Second, discussion. Randy, did you want to give a little background there?
Sure. This is Manick & Smith is a consultant that we use out at our landfill for general engineering services. They help us produce our annual operating report, our NPDES compliance, which is stormwater runoff. They do our waste survey, which every quarter we have to survey the landfill to determine how much waste actually went into the landfill and get a volume quarterly. And they also help us with groundwater monitoring and also just general engineering support. It's something we've used Manick & Smith for several years now and have been very helpful with what they've been able to help us with.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with BEL Environmental Engineering Incorporated for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second, and again, Randy.
Sure. BEL is a consultant, another consultant that we use at the landfill. They are experts in gas compliance, methane gas compliance at our landfill. We've been working with them for a couple of years, and the next contract with BEL are for the air monitoring and the general gas collection services. That they've been a big help. They're located here in Willoughby, Ohio, also. So.
And just for a little context, they've also been very active in helping us with the odor mitigation, the control.
Yeah, that's where we first met them and in contract with them a couple of years ago, and they've been it's been a big help, and now we're expanding their services out at the landfill as we've taken over that system.
And some of the examples are the flaring off of the gases rather than off-gassing just to the atmosphere. We're collecting it and flaring it off.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, very good. Further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with BEL Environmental Engineering Incorporated for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Second, and obviously the same discussion applies to this as you had indicated. So if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution implementing sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code establishing and describing the boundaries of a community reinvestment area in Lake County, designating a housing officer to administer the program, and creating a community reinvestment housing council and a tax incentive review council.
Move to adopt.
Second, and discussion. Administrator Boyd?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. This is a request put forth on behalf of the Painesville Township Board of Trustees. We received this at the end of the calendar year 2020 by the revised code. As noted in the memo, the Commissioners are required to accept this. It's been reviewed by the county prosecutor. We also had David Radacci from Planning and Community Development to help with some of the geography. It's for Paynesville Township, and essentially it's a tax incentive for improvements in residential and commercial properties throughout portions that are identified in the resolution of Paynesville Township. Basically, we are fulfilling our role in the revised code. There'll be a public notice that has to be published, and then the packet will be sent back to Paynesville Township. Their administrator, Mr. Manry, and he'll in turn send it to Columbus for further processing.
Very good. Thank you for that detail. Further discussion?
Question. Will this reduce the county's tax revenues?
Potentially, depending on the significance or number of...
Your microphone, sir.
I'll turn it off, sorry. Depending on the significance of how many people actually utilize the CRA. I believe there's one in Perry Township as well. And I would say it would be immaterial, Commissioner, to answer your question as far as the burden on the taxes.
It sounds like a really interesting and positive program.
Sure. Yeah, you give Paynesville Township trustees credit for moving forward with this.
Is this the first year they've done this?
This is the first one, yes, in Paynesville Township. So it's not. This doesn't complete the process. This is as prescribed in revised code. The county's role in the process. And as I said, there's a formal application that's already completed that'll be sent to Columbus to the Ohio Department of Developmental Services, I believe.
Were they prompted somewhat by a party coming forward and saying that they'd like to take advantage of this program?
You know, I don't have an answer to that. I don't know if they had a particular developer or someone of that regard. I would, more likely, not to speak on their behalf, them taking a proactive approach to reinvestment in their township.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very good. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a property management agreement with Lake Metro Parks for property north of the landfill and the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Second, and discussion. Jason, a little background,
Yes,
please.
Commissioner, and I guess I could kind of tag team here with Mr. Roethlisberger. The county was approached by Lake Metro Parks probably pushing a couple years ago on some property on the northern terminus of our county landfill that's not slated to be used for kind of a joint partnership for some increased public access at the corner, would that be Bacon and Lake Road, heading points northeast, and would connect publicly held property to the existing Lake Erie Bluffs property in Paynesville Township. Met with Randy and his team about our long-term need for the property. And Randy, if you want to take it from there, and we can...
Sure, yeah, this is an area north of the landfill. It's not, like Jason said, it's not slated for any cells, future cells. It's a buffer area. We own some property around the landfill to make sure that houses aren't built and industry isn't put near the landfill to affect that. So this is actually, I think, a really good use of this property. Gives some access. It's going to remain wooded mostly with just a path going through it. So I think it's a really good joint effort between us and Lake Metro Parks.
And as I recall some of the discussion, this won't impact any safety as far as the landfill goes. Ingress, egress would be improved as far as fire service if they needed to gain access to odd areas of the landfill or this piece of property. There's a lot of benefits.
Exactly, yeah. I would say all of that is going to be improved as a result of this partnership. Yep.
Right. And all that's spelled out it's a 20-year lease that the prosecutor's prepared in coordination with Lake Metro Parks Council.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $123,217.13.
Second, discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $754,645.98.
Second, discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash within various non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt.
Second, discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. This brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Utilities, Randy?
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm happy to report that in 2020, we had our fewest water main breaks recorded since we started keeping track of that back in early 2000. So we can attribute that to a couple of things. We did have a mild winter last year and so far this year, but also continuing our capital improvement plan where we're replacing older water lines that have a tendency to break. The combination of those two things have reduced the number of breaks significantly over the last several years.
There you go. Being proactive is paying off. Thank you.
Question.
Sir.
How much was the reduction, Randy, approximately?
This year we had 176 breaks. We've had as many as double that, 350 breaks in a single year. When we had those two really cold winters, I think it was 13 and 14. It was up there significantly, but the last 5 years they've gone from about 230 down to 210, 207, down to 176 last year. So we're very happy with that trend going down. And like I said, I think it's most of it's attributed to that capital improvement plan and replacing 5 or 6 miles of pipe every year that are at the highest risk of break, and the commissioners continue support of that. So really appreciate that.
Didn't we have a couple cold years over the last 5?
I think it was in 13 and 14 were the real cold ones, maybe 14 and 15, I don't recall, but yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago, yeah.
So over the last 5 years, all of them have been fairly warm.
From my recollection, yeah.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Very good. County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Thank you, Commissioners. I want to use this opportunity to give another update on our mass vaccination program here in Lake County, as you guys recall, and thank you for hosting Health Commissioner Graham last week, Director Busher from the EMA, and Mayor Morley from Mayors and Managers to kind of give shed some light on what we were planning to do. And I'm here to tell you what we did do, which has been it's been a good weekend. It was a long weekend. As we noted last week, the county proper received 2,400 doses, or will receive 2,400 doses of the vaccine. That being said, only 400 of those were made available to the health district and/or Lake Health. So we had 400 doses that we were forced to plan for over the weekend for vaccination this week. As you recall, the Lake County Health District opened a portal probably a couple weeks ago for online registration of county residents. We have north of 20,000 people who have pre-registered on that website. And as if you recall, Phase 1B is where we're at today with vaccination per the governor's guidance, and those are folks 80 and over. We've had about 3,000 people of that age demographic pre-register online, and as I noted, we only have 400 this week, so you can see the challenge that we, amongst other communities, are up against as far as getting this out as quickly as we can. We also had 500 of those folks who were over the age of 90, so what we have done, based on the Health Commissioner and Lake Health's guidance, is started with that 90 age demographic and worked our way backwards. So on day one, on Saturday, the January the 16th, using the pre-registration site, 400 invites were sent out to those folks over 90 years of age using a county's new WEN system, which is our reverse 911 that has proved to be an extremely important investment that we just made this year, well, last year with a go live date of January 1. We had 320 individuals register that day. You know, we could see it populating right away. The important part about this is and we noted this last week, is these vaccines, because they're so scarce, have to be scheduled. We cannot have folks just showing up cold call to these locations. So when the reverse 911 goes out, it goes out via phone, email, and/or text, depending on the methodology that one chooses. And then folks could use the message and log on to a website or call a hotline that was established, a call center, if you will, at the health district, with thanks to our telecommunications department. They stood that up over the weekend. So on Sunday, we had an additional 100 folks invited at 9 a.m., and by the end of the day, we pretty much had our 400 folks booked for this Wednesday and Thursday for a vaccine in the tier one, phase 1B, if you will. Some general stats: we sent out we sent 500 invitations. We had 400 people scheduled. That's about an 80% acceptance rate. 54% of those folks scheduled online, and then 46% scheduled using the call center at the health district. I think the call center is important. I know Commissioner Hamercheck spoke of that. With the familiarity with the internet. With that age demographic, we felt the phone and the call center was important, and that proved to be an important endeavor that we took. So we will continue, and I can't stress enough the partnership under Health Commissioner Graham and Lake Health, and then kind of Joe Busher, and a lot of credit to Deputy Director Joe Hum and his technical savvy by implementing the reverse 911. A lot of work over the weekend, and hopefully this model tomorrow will be the first day where we start the vaccines, and we'll probably begin to, depending on the dosage that the health district gets, the Lake Health and so on, probably just duplicate this effort in the coming weeks. Guidance that the health district and Lake Health are hearing is we're still going to be getting about that same number of doses for the forthcoming weeks. The health commissioner on a call this morning is reaching out. As I noted, there was 2,400 total doses. Those 2,000 that went to Giant Eagle, Marks, and I think Discount Drug Mart. We're trying to get a handle on how they're proceeding with their scheduling and disbursement. But I got to say, it was a busy weekend, but a very productive weekend, and all in part to the partnerships with the health commissioner, Lake Health, EMA, the fire chiefs, and so on. I think we've set a good foundation for what our vaccine plan is going to look like heading into the spring. So thank you.
Well, I think it's reasonable to say what we propose, we perform. That's good to hear, and we're getting good buy-in, good feedback from the community. Excellent to hear. We do have to emphasize, though, that supplies of the vaccine are in fact limited, so the public needs to understand that we are not in control of that. What we are in control of, though, is being a high-performing county, so that if vaccines become available because of other counties that are not capable of dispensing the vaccines, we will be eligible to receive those to keep the flow going. So we are making every reasonable effort to be out in front. So thank you, sir. Commissioner Young, any comments?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that the next commissioners' meeting is going to be next Thursday, January 28th at 10 a.m.
Very good, thank you. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to old business. Do we have any old business to come before the board? New business. Do we have any new business? And moving on to our second public comment portion. Jason, do we have any indications? Indicating none. Thank you, sir. And no one in our audience? Okay, if there's nothing else to come before this board, we will be adjourning this meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn same.
So moved.
Thank you, sir. I will give a second to that. Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Very good. This meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.